A warm welcome to this latest video from me, Christina, and welcome to my channel, Christina, your pet animal communication. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I make videos on anything and everything to do with animal communication, nature communication, getting closer to our animals, getting closer to nature, and always feel free to contact me if you're interested in a particular topic, in a particular aspect surrounding this. I'm a certified animal communicator, and I also talk to plants, to trees, and so on. I don't do this in a professional capacity, but certainly if somebody asked me about a plant that's not doing well, then why not? It's all energy. I communicate telepathically with nature, with the animals. So it's all really the same procedure. So feel free to contact me if ever you need my services. So in this video, I want to tackle an issue that I come across frequently in animal communication and clear a few things up around it. The question, what if the information received from an animal doesn't make sense? What if you come back to me with what my animal has answered to my questions and something doesn't make sense? I can't put it together. I can't piece it together. I don't know where this is coming from. It's quite possible, and there's a few reasons for it. I'll tell you those reasons, but before I'll give you some examples. So, for example, if you have a dog, and one of the questions is, well, what is a food that you'd like to try? And the dog says, for example, broccoli. And you think, oh, okay, well, how come he would know that word? I've never given my dog broccoli. I'd understand it if he said chicken or turkey, because that's the food that I give my dog. But broccoli, that's a bit random. How come he said that to you? And this may have several reasons, but in such a case, if you wanted me to double check, that I would clarify with the animal. And it could be, for example, that your dog has seen an advertisement on the television for vegetables, including broccoli. Who knows? And he liked the look of it, and he heard the word repeatedly, perhaps, and thought, oh, that's something that I would like to try. The humans obviously make a great big fuss about it, and why not? So this could be a reason because the animal has watched something on television, for example. Or if you have an indoor cat who expresses concern about a dog in the neighborhood, and you would be quite rightly thinking, well, this cat lives indoors. How would it know what's happening with another dog which is outside? So obviously, I think you'll appreciate that animals are in communication with each other all the time. But there's got to be obviously some sort of trigger perhaps for this concern. So this cat might have looked out of the window and might be seeing this dog who has been walked past your window in your area regularly. And this might have triggered communication with this dog and something not quite right, perhaps, with the dog, and the cat's picked it up and is relaying it to me in communication, perhaps on my question, is there anything else you'd like to let me know? And the cat starts talking about this dog who perhaps has some health issues and some other concerns. So that might be a reason why an animal talks about something seemingly unrelated. Another reason, they've seen it by looking outside. They've seen it being around outside. And thirdly, an animal could also be talking about something that doesn't make sense that relates to a past life. So, for example, I've been talking to a cat recently, and some animals, they are affected by their past lives so much so that they feel the need to share something with regards to this past life. So this cat was talking in an accent. So animals do adopt accents sometimes because obviously we as animal communicators gain information via all the senses, but also through hearing. And this cat was speaking in a very posh Queen's English accent and shared with me that he, in a previous life, was in a posh Chelsea household. And everyone talked like this. So I started talking to this cat. He didn't know me. He thought it was prudent to adopt this accent to be polite. So I thought, okay, fair enough. And that was the reason for him having this Queen's English, very marked British accent when he was talking to me, because he was still imprinted and remembered this past life where he was in this household, in this elegant Chelsea household. So you'd also think, and the reason why I'm saying this particular example is because this cat was also an indoor cat. And one of the things he mentioned to me was that he didn't like it when other animals played with their prey. He liked a clean kill, so his words. And the owner queried that, as it was an indoor cat, he never kills any prey. And then the information with the past life in Chelsea came out, because that was obviously his job, to keep the household free of vermin, free of rats, etc. And that's obviously in the posh household wouldn't have been appreciated for dead vermin lying around or anything messy. So he was then always a very precise and clean killer, so to speak. And that's something he shared to me. And when the owner of this cat heard that, that then made complete sense to her. So there's compelling evidence not only animals but also humans have past lives, more than one. It's something that we'll never know completely about. But just like with a lot of things with regards to animal communication, some things we can have proof for, we can have evidence, but others we verify by the results, we verify by something that makes sense, perhaps to do with the animal's personality. But this cat was sharing something from his past life with me. So those are the various reasons why animal may share information that doesn't make sense. And lastly, an animal can also be affected by something that worries you. So, for example, if you own a dog and you are very fearful of this dog being run over by a car, for example, then this dog may share with me in a conversation that he feels very frightened about crossing the road. The owner may say to me, but I always have him on the lead, everything's, always fine, he's very good, very obedient, always sits, and we always make sure everything's safe. But this dog's owner may have an underlying fear about the dog getting loose, running off, running into the road, perhaps being hit. And this fear may be picked up by the dog. And whereas the dog would not outwardly be calm, it could still be affecting this animal. And they then, trusting me in conversation, in the communication, feel free to share that. And this is then something that you as a dog owner would have to work on with your mindset in order to convey to the animal, okay, I realize I've been carrying this with me and I've projected it onto you, but there's no need to be worried, and I will work on myself to release myself of those worries so we can in future happily cross the road together, free from any fear and anxiety. So these are the reasons why your animal may say something that doesn't make sense. Number one, they've picked it up somewhere by watching television, by listening to others' conversations. And bear in mind, they may not always know the word. They may just show me a picture of something that they've seen, that they've heard. So, for example, if you always feed your horse hay, but it had the taste of haylage once, and I'm asking your horse, what is your favorite food? And your horse said to me, oh, I loved the haylage that I recently had. It may not know the word haylage, but it may convey to me via my senses the taste, the smell of this other foodstuff, and I then translate it into haylage. Okay, so your animal may have seen something experienced it somewhere else, either on television, by getting in contact with other animals, by getting in contact with other people outside, indoors, and hence present this piece of information to you, and you may not at first be knowing where this comes from. Secondly, it may have been had an experience in a past life which is still affecting it today, and relay this information to you, which then at first glance would not make sense. Thirdly, it may be in communication with other animals and exposed some got gleaned some information from them by seeing them in their, as I said, looking down from the window, which you may not necessarily be aware of. And fourthly, it may be harboring secret worries, anxieties of yourself that you may not even be aware of, or may even only be vaguely aware of. And these worries that you unwittingly transferred onto the animal are then coming out in my communication with them. And then, as I said, that would be certainly an invitation for you to work on your mindset, and then obviously give your animal a message via me again to relieve their worries and reassure them that all is well. Right, I hope this cleared a few things up around information that does not at first glance make sense. So if in doubt, I always go back to the animal and clarify, and one of those reasons will usually apply. So bear in mind the animals speak in pictures as well, so they may not necessarily be aware or have ever seen something themselves personally, but they can still convey the information in various ways and via our senses as animal communicators, which is obviously a skill that we pick up to sharpen those senses and the knowing sense, so we can get information from your pet that you otherwise would not get. If you have any questions with regards to this, then please comment underneath the video or get in touch with me directly. And remember to like and subscribe to this channel and share it with others who may be interested in the topics of animal and nature communication. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.